Hello YouTube, this is Goddard Radio Moscow here again with another beer review. For this one I want to return to Belgium to review a beer that I've had sitting in my fridge for quite a long time. So today I have for you the Trapistes Rochefort 8. Now the reason this has been sitting in my fridge for quite a long time is due to the fact that the brewery or the monastery website is only available in French and Dutch, so I owe a big thank you to Victoria for translating the French section of the website for me. She did a really good job. But with this being my first Trappist beer, what I thought I would do for this video is tell you a little bit about the Trappist tradition and where this originates from, and I'll tell you just a little bit about the history and the brewing process of this beer, but I'll save the majority of that for my next Trappist Rochefort video when I can get a hold of the other two beers that they do. But anyway, if you are simply just interested in the tasting of this beer, then feel free just to fast forward towards the last few minutes of the video, and I'll just take those of you who are interested through the history of the Trappist tradition just now. But the Trappist tradition goes back to the Cistercian monks of the La Trappe monastery in France. Now the fundamental tenet of the Trappist monasteries is that they're self-supporting, and that remains to this day, but the original idea was to brew beer to feed the local community. I like the sound of that, I have to say, but today they use their income just to simply sustain the monastery and also to help charities and good causes and things like that, people in need. But the Trappist breweries actually spread throughout Europe. I read that there was one as far wide as Romania, so going all the way across Europe basically. But many of these breweries were actually destroyed during the French Revolution and the two world wars in the 20th century. But today there are actually only 8 active Trappist breweries, 6 of them in Belgium: Orval, Chimay, Westvleteren, Rochefort, Westmalle and Achel, and there's also one in the Netherlands called Koningshoven, and then there's another one in Austria called Mariawald. Now in 1997 these 8 breweries conjoined and they formed the International Trappist Association, and this is basically to prevent commercial companies from using the Trappist name, and all these beers tend to have the special label, and I'll show you that when I give you a close-up of the actual label of the beer in a little second. But all of the monasteries, as I said, put a private logo on these goods, that all of the goods that come out of the monasteries, to mark them and show that they are from this thing. It's basically a protected trademark, if you like, due to the traditions of these beers. But for the beers to be fit to bear this logo, there's 4 conditions. Number 1, the beer must be brewed within the walls of a Trappist monastery, either by the monks themselves or under their supervision. 2, the brewery must be of secondary importance within the monastery, and it should witness to the business practices proper to a monastic way of life. 3, the brewery is not intended to be a profit-making venture. The income covers the living expenses of the monks and the maintenance of the buildings and grounds. Whatever remains is donated to charity for social work and helps persons in need. Number 4, Trappist breweries are constantly monitored to assure the irreproachable quality of their beers. So these are the 4 conditions that make the beers fit to wear this Trappist, the special Trappist logo that's there. But Trappist breweries actually usually describe their beers in terms of 3 different styles. Single, which in Dutch is called enkel; double, which is it's basically just spelt differently, it sounds the same; double and triple in Dutch are the other 2 styles. But having 3 varieties of the beer is no coincidence. You often hear Christians talking about the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost, and this is why that the monasteries actually have the 3 different types of beers. But the single actually isn't really used anymore, and it was previously used just to describe the basic recipe, their basic beer recipe. But there is also a Pater's beer, which just means Father's beer, and this is usually only available within the walls of the monastery, and you can usually, when you go and visit all these different breweries, you can pick that up. I'll need to see if I can actually, when I go to Belgium next year, I'll need to see if I can pick up some of these ones and bring some bottles back. I don't know if they're just available on cask or not. But to get onto the history a little bit of the Rochefort brewery, I'll only touch on this briefly. Now the brewery is actually located inside of the Abbey Notre Dame de Saint-Remy, near the town of Rochefort, and this apparently has been brewing beer since the year 1595. Now Rochefort is only a small town of about 5,000 people, midway between Brussels and Luxembourg, in the province of Namur, in a small region of Belgium known as Famenne. Now the monastery itself apparently lies at the bottom of a stretched out hill in a small indentation next to the river Biron. But there are apparently 15 resident monks in the monastery, and as is the case, as I mentioned earlier, with all Trappist beers, the beer is actually only sold to be produced to support the brewery and the monastery financially and to provide money for other charitable causes. Now the water source for these beers apparently is drawn from a well located within the monastery walls. So with each of these Trappist breweries, I'm sure you actually get a very unique water source, and that contributes to the taste of these things as well. But the other beers produced by the Rochefort brewery are the The Rochefort 6, which is a 7.5% brown beer. It has a red cap and it's brewed only once a year. Apparently this only does 1% of their brewing capacity basically, and the other one is the Rochefort 10, which is an 11.3% dark beer with a blue cap. So this one is the Rochefort 8, which is a 9.2% brown beer, and it has the largest share of the capacity in terms of their brewing capacity within the brewery. I'll just let you have a little look at the bottle now so you can see what I was talking about. As you can see there, it says Abbaye Saint Remy. I'll just bring the camera up and check you're seeing that. At the top here it says Abbaye Saint Remy. As I mentioned earlier, there is the authentic Trappist logo on this one. You can see the number on this one is green. This one is a green beer, and it's the same on the cap as well. They all have their individual caps with the blue, red and green, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, this one is pretty cool. It even has a little thing on the back there. You can see the shape of the goblet that you get with these particular brews. But I'm really looking forward to trying this one. I've heard very, very good things about this brewery. So let's get this guy open and just get on with the tasting here. Now, as I said, it's a 9.2% brown lager. So I'm expecting there to be, as is typical with Belgian beers, I'm expecting there to be just a little bit of alcohol burn here. Oh, this is going to go crazy. That one was struggling to open there. I'm not sure quite what happened there, but that's gone all over me. Lovely. But anyway, let's get this guy out and get the tasting on. I had a feeling that was going to happen with this one. This beer, incidentally, I got from my local bar, the Moorings Bar. Flash there very kindly donated this to me. If you're in Aberdeen, incidentally, the Moorings Bar is definitely a place to check out. It's only the second time in all my beer reviews that this has happened, that the beer has actually exploded on me. So that's a bit annoying. But anyway, let's just get on with this. Now, as you can see, there's a nice sort of tanny, it's not quite a white head, it's a sort of tanny coloured head, this one. There's little particles actually that must have been sedimenting in this. There must be a little bit of sedimentation here. As you can see, it's a very, very dark amber colour. There is actually some sedimentation there in the bottom. I'm not sure how well you can see that in the camera. I'll just bring the camera up and let you see that there. You can maybe see just the particles there in the bottom. Very, very big particles actually. But as you can see, it's a very, very dark amber colour. If I hold this up to the light, I'm not really seeing any bubbles, but I've got a feeling that might just be because of the dark of it. You can see them when you look at the top of this beer. In terms of the aroma, it's actually not got that. I'm getting it more now. Let's just give this a little whirl about. Yeah, it's very, very malty, I have to say. A lot of brown sugar, kind of dark fruits. There is a little bit of the spice character in this one as well. But yeah, this is mainly the very malty brown sugar sort of kind of dark fruits a little bit. You expect that of this kind of particular style of beer. It's actually got quite a nice nose to this one. But I'm getting the sort of typical breadiness that you get from Belgian yeast. If you're quite into your Belgian beer, you'll know what I'm talking about with this. But let's give this guy a taste. I've been really interested to try this one, but it's been sitting in my fridge for a long time, just looking at me like, haha, you don't know about me. But let's give it a taste. Oh, this is really nice. Very, very malty. It hits you quite hard when you take it in. But yeah, this is very malty, kind of right on top of some sort of dark caramel toffee flavours. It actually has a little bit of a roasty character to it, I would maybe say. It's very kind of dark. It's the caramel and the toffee flavours that have the sort of roasty element to them, I would say. But the fruit elements I'm getting are quite raisiny, maybe plums a little bit, and I'm not sure if maybe figs. I'm not too sure of the taste of figs. I've not had figs in a very, very long time, but I'm getting sort of plums and raisins with this one. Yeah, this is a really, really nice beer. Yeah, the taste, definitely. It's very malty, kind of from right off the top. You've got the caramel and toffee flavours, which have a bit of a roasty character to them. And then the fruits are coming out just after that. And I'm also getting the sort of bready, yeasty element to it. And it does have just a little bit of spice character in it as well. On the aftertaste, there is that little bit of spiciness, and it's the Belgian kind of yeasty flavours that are staying with it there. I'm getting on the mouth, I am getting the sort of, this one is medium bodied. It's actually got a fair little bit of carbonation in it. It's more carbonated than a couple of the Belgian beers that I've had already. And you are getting a bit of alcohol burn on this one. The thing that makes this different is that it's quite a bit darker than a lot of the Belgian beers I've had before, but it's lovely, it really is. It's a little bit syrupy, if you like, but I think that's just the dark character that kind of makes it appear like that. But it's very, very smooth, I have to say. You can sit and drink this quite easily. That's the danger with Belgian beers. You can always get absolutely, as we call it in Scotland, you can get absolutely steaming off these and not realise at all, just because of the high alcohol percentage. But this is a really, really good beer. Medium bodied, moderate carbonation. There's a bit of alcohol kind of burn off it, but you're also getting the typical sort of Belgian yeasty flavours. It has the very sort of malty character. There's a nice hint of roastiness and a nice hint of roastiness to the caramel flavours and stuff like that, which is really, really cool. But yeah, you're getting the dark fruits and things like that. Really, really nice beer. This is a really genuinely, I would say this is a genuinely really, really good beer. Definitely give it a try if you get the chance to. Really, really beautiful. But thanks again for watching my beer reviews. Hopefully the next one won't explode on me like this one did. But I hope you found it informative, and I haven't been rambling away as sometimes I do. But thanks again for watching. Please share the videos with your friends, your beer loving friends, your beer circle. As usual, comment in the comment section and let me know about your own thoughts on this beer. I'll put the brewery website into the description box as well, and you can check that out. But as I said earlier, only French and Dutch in there. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube jazz. You've been watching Goddard Radio Moscow, and I shall catch you soon. Cheers.